year, I'm going out on a limb here to play for you a piece in what's called electro-acoustic music. As we go to different styles of music, we have certain expectations. Whether the style is classical or ragtime or blues or jazz or Latin. It doesn't matter. What's happening all the time are the notes do, di, re, re, mi, fa, fi, so, si, la, li, ti, do. 12 notes. Whatever style you're doing, you hear these 12 notes, at least in Western music. Asian music's a little different. But when we go to hear music, we have the expectation that we're going to hear those 12 notes in some sort of order to create a melody that we can sing or a rhythm that we can dance to. Electroacoustic music takes that whole concept right out the window. The idea of electroacoustic music is to create a picture, but instead of creating a picture using familiar melodies, it uses sound. And the electroacoustic musician is interested in how the sound changes over time. We have to learn the do, re, mi of electroacoustic music. Ready? A little bit of music physics in 10 minutes. We know that the piano, when we play the piano, the strings vibrate and they go in oscillation. Anything that moves back and forth is in oscillation. Johnny, stand still, but Mom, I'm oscillating and I can't stop. So when anything is oscillating back and forth, it moves all of these molecules of air all around us. So they said, hey, can we create a box that would manipulate the air? All right. Now, can you all see the speaker moving? Put a little shell in there. So they figured out if they take a wire and they wrap it around a magnet and stick electricity in the wire, it makes the magnet go back and forth. And this speaker goes forward and backward one time. It's called a hertz. It's sending energy and then it's taking back energy. And it's 1 hertz. Now this thing is moving at about 7 hertz, which kind of looks like that. And it does that in 1 second. In order for humans to hear, so we have to move this thing 20 times in 1 second, which kind of sounds like this. It's about a D sharp. You see that thing moving? So now what we can do is, as we move that faster, we can start to hear a pitch. Now I'm going to attempt to do this without blowing my speakers up. But if I blow my speaker up, it's really cool. So, don't do this at home to your parents' equipment. I can pay for a new one. Those that have hearing aids, you might want to, and we started hearing pitch. This frequency is one of the do-re-mis of electroacoustic music. This, dynamics, soft and loud, is another aspect of the do-re-mi of electronic music. What they did is they took this acoustic event and they said, well, hey, how can we make it so we oscillate not the air, but the electronics within a circuit? So they created this thing. And this is called a theremin. It's really cool. There's some electronics, and here's some wires wrapped around, not a magnet this time, it's ferrite or iron or something like that. This is an oscillator, this is an oscillator. It moves the current back and forth to create a waveform, and we have control over pitch. So the waveform is what creates the tone. you listen to this tone, listen to this, and you listen to this. There it is. You hear that they're a little bit different. They're the same pitch. They're moving this at the same rate, but they're a different waveform. This is a sine wave. It sends current to the speaker and then drops it off. Sends it, drops it off, sends it, drops it off. On here, we can find a sawtooth wave. And that sounds a little bit more like this. Right? It's a little closer. This thing is a triangle wave. And this is a square wave. So if you listen, oh, not that one. They all are modulating, they're all oscillating at the same pitch, but the waveform is different. So the electroacoustic musician takes these three things, three aspects of sound, and manipulates them to create a picture based on the layering of sounds and the manipulation of sounds over time. So if you're expecting to hear a melody that you can sing, don't do it. If you're expecting a beat that you can dance to, don't do it. The difference is, the A here doesn't do anything after you press it, but an electroacoustic musician will say, that's no A. I'll give you an A. So what we have to do is we have to learn, as listeners to this type of music, we need to learn what's going on, because to see somebody go like this, that's really boring. That's really, really boring. So what you do as a listener is you listen to what's happening after the note is pressed. So we learn, how do they produce this sound? They start with the sawtooth wave. They bring it down an octave, which means I just took all of the low notes and put it up, or I took all of these keys and put it down. I can move this stuff back and forth that thing can't do. It is a much more sophisticated style of music. Not to mean it's better, it's just more complex. So we can, as an electroacoustic musician, we can make all of these buttons, all of these keys, the exact same note. I just took away all of the melody. The purpose is sound. I can take this. This is just so cool. I can take this and I can move the pitch as, yeah, these are kid sounds. So if there are any adults in the room, please leave. This is all about being kids. So now we can modulate the waveform. So we have waveform modulation and pitch modulation. I haven't even messed with the decibel level yet. Then there's aftertouch. As I was saying on there, you push it once and that's what happens. If you push it fast, it's loud. If you push it slowly, it's soft. On here, if you push it slowly, we get a low sound with the high sound. If you push it quickly, velocity, you only get the high sound. I can change the waveform with how I push the button, and then I have total control of these sounds if I push harder on the keys. Then on here, I mean, it's a cool trick. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a glissando, and it goes all along the